Hey folks, this is a slightly different video for this channel. It's about repairing some plastic panels rather than flying. If you're looking for the flying content, I'd recommend watching a different video. So this is a plastic panel from a Mooney M20E Echo that I used to own. These old panels from the 50s, 60s, 70s were made with a form of ABS plastic. They're also getting quite old, 40, 50, 60 years old, and many of them have cracked, like this one. This one has a whole bunch of cracks in it. Fortunately, because they are made from a form of ABS plastic, they are eminently repairable, and that's what the rest of this video is going to focus on. So you can see here some of the tools I used. There's ABS pipe cleaner, ABS pipe cement, fiberglass, and then some JB weld. I ended up not using the JB weld for gluing things together. The nice thing about ABS plastic is that it is solvent weldable. That's what we'll be using the pipe cement for. Fiberglass is a reinforcing medium for those welds. So the first step was to use foil tape. So this is HVAC duct tape, DUCT. It's a little expensive, but it's nice because it's tape. It's easily tearable, easy to mold to the structure that we're solvent welding. And you can see in these photos what I did is I took little chunks of it, applied it to the front side of the panel to help stabilize the cracks before applying solvent to weld them back together. And again, alongside fiberglass to reinforce the repair. You can see me taping all the cracks here. There were a bunch. Once the taping was done, I flipped the panel over and I prepared the back. So first I used some acetone, that's the ABS pipe cleaner, to clean off the back. And then I sanded a little bit to re-roughen up the back side of the panel. You can see some sanding going on here, and you can see the back side of one of those larger cracks. Once the sanding was done, we started to apply the ABS pipe cement and fiberglass. ABS pipe cement uses a solvent, MEK, that flashes off, it evaporates, it vaporizes very, very quickly. It's also quite volatile and a little noxious. I'd recommend doing this outside with a respirator. That's what I did. Also, because it is a very volatile solvent, this is not like working with resin and fiberglass and carbon fiber. It's totally different. What I did was work in small sections, inch by inch, 2 inches by 2 inches, apply the solvent first, and then apply the fiberglass, wetting it out before the solvent has fully evaporated, and then going from there, working in small chunks. Some other important considerations with this are to start the process outside of the crack, work towards the crack, and then away from the crack. So in my case, working across the panel from one side to the other, eventually crossing the crack. For structural integrity, it's really important to make sure two things happen. One, that the ABS pipe cement fully penetrate the crack in order to solvent weld it back together, and that there are no air bubbles between pieces of plastic or fiberglass and plastic. Either one of those will result in a weak repair that's liable to cracking again in the future. Once it's all done, the nice thing about this, because it is plastic and we're solvent welding, it's welded back together as one piece of plastic. Flipping to the front side, you can see here I've started to take the tape off. You can see that I've gotten the ABS pipe cement to fully penetrate that big crack in the front side, which is good because it means it's fully welded back together. You can see the same thing in this other crack on the back, and I've started to trim off the excess fiberglass. The next step in preparing the front side is to do some sanding. Basically clean off the excess that had seeped through to the front. You can see those little black lines in preparation for painting in the future. Last shot here, you can see some more sanding work has been done. It's been smoothed out. So this has been fully prepared for painting now. The next step with this would be to use a plastic specific primer and paint. I think the company SEM makes some products that are specific to painting ABS plastics. That would have been my next step in this project. Unfortunately, I decided to sell the plane before finishing this. I don't know what the next owner is going to do with it, but these are some of the repairs I made. The other nice thing I'd say about this, in closing, is this is stuff that private pilots can do with planes they own without involving a AMP or some other type of certificated professional. Refurbishing interior panels falls under the refurbishing interior decorations portion of preventative maintenance that pilot owners of aircraft are allowed to do, which is nice because it lets us do little projects like this to improve the interior of an aircraft that we own. That's all I have for today. I hope this was educational, if not that, at least entertaining, and thanks for watching.